Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is the first episode of a series that we're doing on the 7.7 event. So we're going to be sharing the whole journey, so all the preparation, the run up to the event, and then everything that we needed to do for the event, and the drive to the event, and then the event itself. So this is episode 1 of that series. This episode we're covering the preparation and everything gearing up to the event. We had a few issues. We had a bit of a problem with one of our cars, one of the 7 series, which would have cost us basically not being able to present a car at the 7 series. But we will talk about that later in this episode and get onto that a bit later, and I'll explain to you what we did to rectify that. But for now, we're getting on to the preparation of the cars, what we did, some detailing videos, and I'll explain to you what I did. There'll be a mix of a few videos and a few time lapses, but I will talk you through what is going on and what we're doing in preparation for the 7.7 event. Guys, this was a big turnout for our first 7 series event, probably the biggest 7 series event that's happened in the UK. Yeah, it was a pretty good turnout, some great people that turned up, and overall it was a very successful event. I am so excited to show you some of the content that we've got from it, and some of the people that we've met, some of the cars that we saw. It was just great overall. So stick with it, and I'll show you some great stuff following this. As you guys might already know, Manoj and I both own a E38 each. Manoj owns a 735i individual in Avis Blue, an absolute stunner of a car, and I own a 728i genuine sports, which is in steel blue. So in preparation for the 7 series event, we have to get these cars detailed. So we're going to start with Manoj's car, and we're going to do a full detail of his car. We're going to do the interior, the carpets, the seats, the full trim, and then we're going to do a stage 2 detail on the exterior. So let's get started, guys. We're going to start on the front driver's seat and passenger seat. I'm using a very light soapy solution to scrub the seats down to get any grease out. I'm very gentle with it because it is leather, and Manoj, he loves his precious leather interior. This champagne gold interior with blue piping is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'm just going around all the seats, scrubbing them down, getting all the grease off, and then using a microfiber cloth to wipe it down. I will later on go over all of these seats with a cream and a protector, but for now it's just a cleaning process. Once I was done with the seats, I swiftly moved on to the carpets. So I used a carpet cleaner with a solution to suck up all that dirt from the carpets. I started with the front, driver and passenger. I then moved on to the rear, driver and passenger, working my way around until it was all done. And once it was all done, check this out, guys. This is what came out of the carpets. To be honest, I thought the carpets were relatively clean just looking at them, but yeah, they were not clean. Look how dirty that water is. Once I was happy with the interior and it was clean, I moved on to cleaning the exterior of the car. So this is in preparation for me to do a 2-stage polish on the paintwork. Now, lots of people have different methods of cleaning cars. I start with the wheels. I do the dirty work first. I then move around and rinse the whole car down. I then use a snow foam, which I cover the entire car with. I let the snow foam sit for a little while. I then wash it off because I want whatever that dirt that the snow foam has pulled out, I want that off the car. I then rinse it all off. I then do a contact wash with the wash mitt and soapy water. I then rinse that off and dry the car with a drying towel. That is my process. People do it differently. Some people, they leave the snow foam on and then do a wash with a wash mitt, but I prefer to take the snow foam off. But anyway, let me know what you guys do. Drop your opinions in the comment section below. I want to know what wash process you guys use. Now, you might have noticed in the previous clip when I was washing the car, I didn't actually dry it. Now, the reason I did dry it is because I'm going to be polishing it anyway, so any watermarks that I left, I am going to be polishing them out anyway, and it won't make a difference at this stage. As you can see, I've swiftly moved on to the polishing stage of this car. At this stage, I am basically cutting the paintwork. I'm using a medium cut compound and I'm using a cutting pad. The machine I'm using is a 3-way polishing machine. It's not a rotary, it's very safe to use and minimizes the risk of burning the paintwork. So it's very easy to work with. I'm not going to bore you guys too much with this process as it is a very long process. But basically, after I was done with the cutting, I used a finishing compound with a finishing pad and went over the entire car again to finish the paintwork off. This gives it a nice glossy finish. Once I was done with that, however, I then moved on to insulating the vehicle. So I went round again by hand and insulated the entire car, and this will give me at least 12 months of protection. And the cool thing about it, it makes the car bead like this. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things about detailing, is when it rains, you can tell that the car is clean underneath and the beading is just so satisfying. So that is Manoj's car all done and detailed. I did a few final touches like tyre shine and Rain-X on the windows. I then went round with the trim restorer around the whole car. Regarding my E38, I did the exact same process as I did with Manoj's car. I did a full detail, interior and exterior, and I'm not going to bore you with that again as it's the same thing. So that is 2 of our E38s ready for the 7.7 event. Bearing in mind these are 2 of our daily cars, but now they are worthy of representing ATB at our very own event, dedicated to BMW 7 Series. On that point, I'd just like to share that we are very proud of our E38s. For example, the 728i Sports, we have taken on an 1800 mile road trip to Germany and specifically the Nürburgring, and honestly it did not skip a beat. We will show you more about that road trip in a separate video, but for now, let's move on to the next bit. This brings me nicely onto the big issue that we were facing. We wanted to bring our E23 732i to the 7.7 event. However, we found out that the engine had become seized. This was a big problem because 1, we didn't have enough time to rebuild the engine, and 2, we just couldn't find a replacement engine as they are very hard to come by. Anyway, you can follow the journey of the E23 on our channel and I will drop the link in the description below. We have episodes on rebuilding that engine or finding a replacement engine and putting it back in the car, and the goal is to get that car back on the road. In the end, our daily E38s saved the day and ended up being the cars that we represented ATB with at the 7.7 event. Right guys, this is all we have for this episode. However, join us on the next one where we get ready for the day of the 7.7 event. We're leaving for the show, we've got some rolling shots to show you and just showing you our journey to the show. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe so you're always kept up to date, and we will see you on the next one.